Yes, I'm live.
Is it?
Yeah. Has it come up?
Yes. It's live video.
Has it?
Yes, get that up.
Oh, there's 3 people on.
It's up for 2 seconds. Below.
6. Hello. Hi. Oh, Lisa and Jodie. Hello. This is all a bit. Oh, 19. So we're just going to wait for a few people to join because I've literally just gone live now. We've got Jackie, Elizabeth, Keely. Hi. Oh, Natalie. Thank you. Hi, Lisa. Hi, Sarah. Lots of people. So you might have just seen in Swan's comments that we're actually going live today for Alice Charity. I'm not sure how many of you know about Alice Charity, but they are a charity that are based up in the Midlands area for Stoke-on-Trent and Newcastle-under-Lyme, and they support families in need, whether it be food donations, clothes, etc. There is a Just Giving link, so if you can go over and donate, anything is more than nothing. And also, if you want to find other ways that you can support their charity, if you head onto their website, you'll be able to find them if you just search Alice Charity in Google, and you can see like so many other ways that you can support them. Hi Jackie, Michelle, hello. Oh, Sharon's on, hi. So I can see just a few people are still joining. But firstly, you may be wondering who I am. So I'm Natasha and I am from the Coach House Kitchen. Essentially, I am a food and baking blogger. I've always loved food, eating it, cooking it, and I started the Coach House Kitchen in March this year, as with probably most people, finding something additional to do during lockdown, and had so much more time to be able to cook and just really enjoy doing it. So here we are, and today I'm going to be baking some Santa hat cupcakes just to get us all in the Christmas spirit, I think. I mean, you can see behind me that I'm certainly getting into the festivities already, so that's what we're going to be doing. Just a few people joining, give it a couple of minutes. Also, if you haven't got a drink, definitely go and get one now. Like I say, we're getting in the spirit. I've got Prosecco. And hopefully I'll only have this one glass, but yeah, certainly go and get some for yourself, and cheers. Perfect. Well, let's start. So like I said, we're going to be baking some Santa hat cupcakes, and I've gone for some really festive flavours as well. Cinnamon, ginger, nutmeg. Those flavours for me are literally Christmas in a bite. So what we're going to do is, I've already weighed out the ingredients, but I'm going to talk you through all of the ingredients that we need, and then we're going to whip them up and get them in the oven. But before we start, this is the thing I always forget: preheat the oven. So oven has just gone on at 160 to preheat. That's 160 at fan. So like I said, we're going to weigh out our ingredients. Now, I always start with my eggs when it comes to weighing out the ingredients. The reason being is, you may have seen it before, but to weigh the eggs in their shell, and that way is how you can know what weight all of the other ingredients need to be. Most recipes will say 3 eggs, 4 eggs, etc. And they would have based that probably on a medium egg. But if you want to be really specific, then definitely weigh your eggs. It takes 2 seconds, and just a reminder to weigh them in the shell. So I've got 2 eggs today because I'm looking to make 8 to 10 cupcakes, and obviously up the quantities depending on how many you need. Also, before we move any further, just to let you know that I will be writing all of this down for you, sharing the recipe on my website, which also gets shared to Facebook and Instagram at the Coach House Kitchen. So please feel free to follow me, and you'll find the recipe, and you can say writing anything down, because I know sometimes I do talk quite quickly. But like I said, I've got 2 eggs here. My eggs weighed 132 grams. I used large eggs, and they come from the local farm shop. So then what I did is I've weighed out my butter, which I'm going to put into my stand mixer. Now I use a KitchenAid stand mixer, but if you don't have one of those, that's absolutely fine. You can use a hand whisk, or if you don't have one of those, you can also just use a good old big bowl, wooden spoon and your elbow grease. But if you do want to invest in a stand mixer or a hand whisk, which one of these, which is what I'm talking about, Swan actually do sell these on their website, and they have given me a discount code to share with you all. It's 20% off. Their stand mixers aren't in stock at the moment, but they'll be back in January, and the code is TCHK for the Coach House Kitchen 20. But like I say, I'll share that as well on my page. So I'm just gonna take off the bowl, and in we go with the butter to start with. So our butter is in. And then for this one, most cake recipes, they generally use caster sugar if you're doing just vanilla caster sugars. But I'm using light brown muscovado sugar because I think it just gives that more Christmassy caramelized flavor. I think somebody just said that they love their Swan mixer, Jennifer. So definitely there's a recommendation there already for their stand mixers. So in with the sugar, and what we're doing today is the all-in-one method, which is where everything goes into the bowl. You've probably seen, if you watch the Bake Off, Mary Berry, Prue, they probably also speak about the all-in-one method. The other one you can do, I'm just going in with the flour, is the creaming method. That's where you would have beaten together the butter and the sugar together, and then you would fold in your eggs and your flour. But I go for the quick option. It to me doesn't make too much of a difference. So oh, Katie's adding Swan mixer to her Christmas list. Really good idea, and make sure you give them the discount code. I'm just going in with the eggs as well. So one. These eggs have the nicest yolk on them. There we go. So my eggs are in. So far in the bowl I've got my butter, my sugar, my flour and my eggs. And then I'm going in with the spices. Like I mentioned, I'm going for really Christmassy, festive cupcakes. But if you don't like the flavours of like ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, you can just use some vanilla essence. So just put 1 teaspoon of vanilla essence in them for your vanilla cupcakes. So first off with the cinnamon, I'm going in with 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Cinnamon's probably like one of my favourite spices when it comes to Christmas. And then a teaspoon of ginger as well. Oh, can't get out. And then just a really small pinch of nutmeg. So I'm not going to use it there, I'm just going to give it a really small tap. So everything is in. Oh, sorry. Everything is in now. I'm going to remove my spatula and I'm going to mix it up. Now, like I mentioned, I'm using a stand mixer, and with your cake mix, it really doesn't need too long on the mix. I think a lot of people tend to over whip it, which could mean that your cakes don't rise as much or they might sink. So really, you just need to mix it until it incorporates. Bear with me because I'm going to turn this on, and it is probably going to be quite loud as I've got the phone quite close to it. Oh, how if I turn the plug on? You can see a bit of the stuff coming up. Like I say, you'll see how short it actually needs to be on for. I'm just going to turn it off, and then using my spatula, I'm going to pull it back down just to make sure that I don't get any loose butter, eggs, etc. that are stuck to the sides. Ooh. I'm just going to scrape that off, and then we're going to remix it here, probably for 30 seconds. Like I say, it really doesn't need a lot, and I think, like I say, so many people overmix, just you don't need to. Perfect. I'm really happy with that. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Bear with me a moment. Just want to get everything off. Waste not, want not. Like I mentioned, if you've just joined, we're doing this in aid of the Alice charity. So if you would like to donate to them and find out more about them, if you visit the Just Giving link that Swan have shared, I think they keep putting it in the comments as well. So it would be amazing if you can go and help them. So here I have my cupcake tray with cupcake cases in them. And this is what our mix is looking like. Hopefully you can all see that, and you can see the consistency of it as well. So it's not falling off my spoon, but it's not really thick like paste. Now when I fill my cupcake cases, I use an ice cream scoop. And the reason I do that is I am a little bit of a perfectionist, and I like to have even cupcakes throughout. But again, like I say, with the over mixing, I think another common error that people do is they overfill their cupcake cases. So when it comes out of the oven, it domes, and that's not what we want when it comes to the decorating. If you're making muffins, fill, but cupcakes, leave them so they've got plenty of room to rise. Sarah, she's put, just give me a spoon. I'm all for that, to be fair. But I think I can certainly say they're going to taste much better when they're baked. Like I say, just the ice cream scoop going into one at a time. I'll move this down slightly so you can see them all. Probably shouldn't have done that now because this is moving, sorry. There we go, in we go. So like I said, I think this mix will make about 8 to 10 cupcakes. I did it the other day and I got 11 out of them, but I was really scraping the sides. Like I say, waste not, want not. I'm just going to quickly fill those in. So who's going to be tuning in to watch the Bake Off tonight? And who do you want to win? So we've got Peter, David and Laura in the finals. Let us know in the comments who you want to win. I'm absolutely rooting for Laura to win. I just really liked her. She's a bit clumsy, but I think I can resonate with her on some of those levels. But I think a lot of people are thinking that Peter's going to win. Ice cream scoop is a great idea. Oh, you always over or underfill. Yeah, I just find one scoop, it really does give me like the perfect level of cupcake. Rocket. Who was that? Thanks. Right. I really like to see, really scraping the sides here, but it is needed. Obviously for those people that do like licking the bowl, I'm not recommending you do that, but I anticipate that Sarah was suggesting that. So keep a little bit in there if you do like doing that, I guess. Okay, here we go. You're our very own Bake Off queen. Oh, thank you so much. So like I said, I've got 10 cupcakes here, so perfect. That was 132 grams of everything. Before I put them in the oven, I'm just going to tap them out on the side, which will level off all of the batter in them. There we go. So here you can see we've got 10 cupcakes here. They're going to go in the oven for 20 minutes at 160 degrees. I'm sure you all know how to check your cupcakes, but if you don't, I use a skewer to check mine, check that it comes out clean. But speaking of Bake Off, if you are like Peter and you want to listen to your cakes, let me know how that goes, because I can't get on with that. Someone said I was always a whisk licker. So these are going in the oven. I'm going to set the timer because otherwise I'll get distracted and they'll probably burn, which is not what we want. But we're not going to sit here and watch me talk for 20 minutes whilst they're baking. So I'm going to do something that I've always wanted to do and having one of those art attack moments where I'm like, here's some I made earlier. Anyway, so these ones I made earlier, and these are the sponges. So you can see how much they've risen in the cupcake cases, and that really was just one ice cream scoop of them. So you can see roughly where you're going to get to here. Hopefully everybody can see that okay. I think we've just had somebody join, Claire. No worries. So what you've missed is that we've just prepared all the cake, but don't worry because I'm going to be writing this recipe down so you can make them yourself at home whenever, weekends, getting into the Christmas spirit. So the next thing we need to do is we need to decorate them. Oh, somebody bought the reindeer behind me. That's actually, it's great, isn't it? It's got light up antlers and everything. But back onto the cake. So what we're going to do is create the buttercream. Now I've already prepared my buttercream purely because I didn't want to put you through the noise of the KitchenAid mixer. However, what we're going to do from this buttercream is colour it, fill it, and then we'll start the decorations. When you're making your buttercream, it's really important that you really beat the butter to break it all down, and that's how you start getting whiter buttercreams because it's actually been beat for a long time. With your buttercream, you need to do a 2-to-1 ratio. So it's 1 butter to 2 icing sugar. So the butter goes in, whisk that for, when I say a long time, about 5 minutes, constantly using your beater to push it down as well. And then you add in half of the icing sugar, beat that again. And then once that's all come together, put the other half of the icing sugar in and beat that. But at that stage, that's not the point to stop, because what you also should do is add in a small amount of milk, probably about a tablespoon of milk, excuse me, or some cold boiled water. What that will do is it just helps loosen up the buttercream, so when it comes to piping and stuff, it's not really stiff and it holds enough though. Perfect. So we've got some more people joining. So for all of you that have joined, we're making some Santa hat cupcakes, and this is through Swan brand, all in aid of the Alice charity. So if you want to donate to them, please do. So as we're making Santa hat cupcakes, everybody knows that the colours are red and white. So I've already got my my white here, and what I'm going to use to colour it is some Wilton food colouring. So this is the brand Wilton here. You may have seen them if you shop in Hobbycraft, etc., and you might have some as well if you're keen bakers. Who in here is a keen baker out of interest? Let me know in the comments. Just gonna get some separate bowls out. Oh. Sorry, I'm back. You need a glass of wine. I've got some Prosecco. Oh, are you telling that to somebody else? I've got Prosecco, so if everyone else wants to get some, cheers. So I'm going to split my buttercream into some separate bowls before we start colouring it. I'm actually going to make some Christmas tree ones as well. Just decided that. I saw some on Pinterest. Pinterest is like, I think, a girl's best friend. You may all agree with me or you may disagree. I don't know, do men use Pinterest as much as us ladies? Please, if there's any men on here watching, do let me know. I can't bake, but watching makes me want to try. Rose, honestly, I think sometimes, excuse me whilst I just bash, I think sometimes things can always look much harder than they are, and I think my aim with the Coach House Kitchen is to really show that it doesn't take as much effort and time and hassle as it may come across. Half of it is in the trick of the photography, if I'm completely honest. So here I've split my buttercream. I'm going to first dye my red one. So what I use is gel food colouring, and I really recommend you using gel rather than water-based. and you can find that. You don't have to go to a craft store to get it. You can find it just in the supermarkets as well. Because it's a Santa hat cupcake, I'm going for a quite rich red. So I've got my cocktail stick here just to get some of it out. And we're gonna mix it in. Here, this is the easiest way to do it. I'm actually going to be donating these cupcakes to our local hospital for the NHS. I think, you know, they've done so much for us this year, like they do always, and everyone else, key workers, etc. I think it's one of the things that we are so used to saying now, but it's so important. And you know, using all of this food colouring is just going to be giving them more energy, numbers. But here you can just see I'm using a palette knife here to mix it together, but I'm getting a really nice red here. Does anybody have any questions whilst I'm doing this, like any baking questions or any other questions about other types of baking, cooking? Because I'm more than happy to try and answer them for you. Oh, thank you. I think we've had Rachel and Beth just join us. So here we go, I've got my my red done. Like I said, I'm going to do some Christmas tree ones as well, so of course we need green. Who's got their Christmas trees up already, out of interest? We keep saying that we need to put ours up, and for some reason we've not yet got it out. But because we're working from home at the moment, we're going to have one in our office as well. I absolutely can't wait for all the comments that I probably get when I'm on video calls telling me that it's too early, because I'm 100% gonna have it up before the end of this week. So if anyone from my work is watching, be prepared. Lisa, donate to me. I'm sure we can whip up another batch and get some over to you, Lisa. I've got a question here. Where did your love of cooking and baking come from? That's from Keely. So, actually, it first came, my mum used to work really long hours. I actually think my mum's watching this. And me and my sister used to sometimes try and cook dinner to help my mum out, and we got a little bit bored of having microwave meals as well. And so we just started off with like pasta bakes and, you know, the basic stuff, and started exploring a little bit more. And then I started working at a pub just locally as a weekend job and weeknights whilst I was at college. And then I ended up sort of working in the kitchen with them just as a bit of an assistant. I really enjoyed it, and I just kept learning. And I think as I moved out and I got my own place, it's just something I've always really loved doing. Had another question here about, should we sieve flour or just leave it unsieved? To be completely honest, I don't sieve my flour. I don't think you need to anymore. Loads of videos I've watched and stuff, they say don't bother. It was more for when flour didn't go through like the mills and stuff, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I don't sieve mine, and my cakes, if I say so myself, taste quite nice. So as you can see, I've mixed up my green buttercream as well for the Christmas trees. And what I have here are 3 piping bags with 3 different nozzles. And I don't want this to daunt you. If you don't have piping nozzles, it's not a problem. You can easily order some if you want to. But also, if you don't, for these cupcakes, you can do them without as well. Also, if you don't have a piping bag, I do have a hack for you. I love a hack. What you can do is use a freezer bag, one of the plain Ziploc bags, not one that has coloured bits on it. My partner Chris, he was baking at the weekend and he did the piping bag hack, but his freezer bag had like red and blue ink on it, and it just ran all into his cake mix, biscuit mix, sorry, and ruined it. But that's on my website. I'll share the link with you after, so you can find that. Or actually, Chris, could you just share the link of the piping bag hack from my website onto the comments?
Yeah, I did know.
Amazing. So my assistant that's watching over there is going to do this. I just had another question as well, which what made you start your Instagram page and blog? Great question. I'm going to answer that in a second. I'm just going to quickly talk through what we're going to do next. So with my first nozzle, which is a Wilton 2D nozzle, that gives you like a floaty flour effect. I'm gonna fill my piping bag with the white buttercream. What you wanna do is pull the piping bag down so you can really hold it. And then using your spoon, you can start to fill the bag. So as I'm doing that, I'll answer the question about my page. So I actually started my page. So I've had a few Instagram pages actually, but the Coach House Kitchen came during lockdown. I think so many people found new hobbies and things to do. And like I said, I've had Instagram pages before for baking, but I wasn't really committed to them as much as I am with the Coach House Kitchen. And it purely came because we were cooking so much lovely food that I thought, do you know what, share it. Everyone loves seeing food pictures now. There once was a time where taking pictures of your food wasn't cool, but now I think if you don't take a picture of your food, like, you're not cool. Obviously, don't all go start taking pictures of your food because you think I'm saying it's cool if you really don't believe it. So here you can see that I filled the piping bag. I'm just going to fill all of them, so if you've got any other questions, please do ask away. As you can see, we're just pushing it all down. We've got Joan and Tracy that have come on. It says that they're just watching. And for the Christmas tree one, we're using a Wilton 1M nozzle. Again, like I say, I'm going to write all of this down. So if you do want to make these cupcakes or some of these baking tips, I'll write it all down and you'll be able to find it on the Coach House Kitchen website, Facebook, Instagram. And that is my handle. It is just the Coach House Kitchen. No underscores, no spaces or anything. So you should be able to find me absolutely fine on there. So I just need to get a spoon. So in we go now with the green. So like I say again, just hold it so you can get hold of it. Some people like to put it over a glass and then pull the edges of the piping bag over the glass, but I find it best to control it with my hand. Okay, so these are going in. And then we'll just go in with the red as well. Okay. Oh, excuse me. So sorry, I completely missed people's comments if they said who they wanted to win the bake-off tonight, which is starting in an hour. So it's the final. I actually loved this series. I think it was really good. And I think there was always at the start, we didn't know if they were actually going to be doing it or not. And I'm just so glad that they did. I think the bake-off starting is one of the things that everybody needed. Here we go. Almost there with the piping bags, and then we get to really start the fun stuff. Like I said, these cupcakes as well, as you can see, they're really not difficult to make. So if you've got kids, grandkids, etc. that loves to bake, then this is the perfect thing to bake with them. Also, take them into work. Cupcakes are probably one of the perfect things to take to work because people can just take one without having to worry about how big a slice they're taking. Ava wants you to win the bake-off. Oh, thank you, Ava. I'd love to enter the bake-off one day. They're taking applications at the moment. I've not yet put an application in though, so watch this space. I might, I may not. On this one, I've just got a plain nozzle. Hopefully you can see that okay. And this one is for the hat effect. So now that all three piping bags are filled, we're going to start with our white one with the cakes. So hopefully you'll be able to see this okay. If you need me to change the angle you can't see, please do just let me know. So also when you're doing a piping bag and you've got icing in it, just make sure when you filled it that you just push it up a little bit to to make sure that you've got any air bubbles out, because the last thing you want is when you're piping to get a splat and then it just ruins your piping effect. So turn the bag and just grip it with your hand. I'm left-handed, but if you're right-handed, definitely use that. Hold your cake in the other hand, and around the outside we're going to pipe all around this outside, which is going to give us the rim of the Christmas hat. Hopefully you'll start seeing it come together. So here we go. And then did you see that? I just like pulled it away, so rather than sitting there, so it doesn't then clog up. I'm just going to do this on all of them, because when we do the Christmas tree ones as well, that's going to be the skirt of the Christmas tree. So I'll just quickly do these. It's not like when you're recording a video and you can just put time lapse on. Can everybody hear the Christmas music that I've got on in the background as well? If you don't have a real fireplace, then I highly recommend on Netflix putting the fireplace program on. It's brilliant. Although I don't think it compensates for a real fire, so you're winning if you have a real fire. Perfect piping on camera, smashing it. Thanks, Becky. It's my icing is still a little thick, so if I was to be remaking it, I'd add a small bit more of milk, but you don't want to have it too runny and loose either, so it doesn't hold its shape. Here we go. Hopefully you can see this okay with the way that I'm doing it. Let me try and just turn it ever so slightly more. This should be better for you. There we go. So that's all 7 of our cupcakes done with the white. I'm going to move this over here. The cupcakes have 4 minutes left in the oven as well. It's going to start with the Santa hat cupcakes. Netflix fire, better for the ozone layer. Absolutely, that is correct. So again, don't forget to do this on your piping bag to make sure that all of the air is out, because that's the last thing you want, especially when you're doing piping and these hats. So for the Santa hat, what we're going to do is start from where you can see the cake. It will overlap ever so slightly on the white, but not all the way over it. And we're just going to go round in circles, keeping pressure and keeping it quite far down to it. You'll hopefully see I'm not explaining it too great. Oh, great icing tips, maybe I am. So here we go. And Santa hats go off to the side, don't they? So we don't want to have it like a cone head. So I'm just going to carry on and do about 3 of the Santa hat ones, I think. So then we've got some for the Christmas trees as well. So again, like this. Oh, did you just see that air bubble? That's because I didn't push it out. That's fine. We'll just start again. So here we go. That one's a bit dodgy. And then one more. And do you know what? I'm going to go off piece and I'm going to try this in a different way. So this is what happens. But what I'm going to try and do on this one is I'm going to do one full blob and just apply pressure and just slowly pull it up and see how that comes. Is that more Santa hat like? What's your thoughts? Let me know. I'd love to know. Honestly, I'm always looking for ways to learn. Now to finish our Santa hats off as well, we need the little white fluffy ball on the end. So what we're going to do is get back to our white icing. Good job, I've got enough here. What are people saying about the ones they prefer? The first one. Perfect. The one that I've practiced is the best. So where we've come off with the piping, we're going to go back on for the white dot. Oops. So just a small blob and up we come. And what we're also going to do, because it's Christmas, we're going to put some sprinkles on it. Like that. Like you can see, I'm pulling it away so it doesn't clump, and you'll get that nice pull away look as well. And then this is the dodgy improvised one. And then with our sprinkles, Tesco are selling these at the moment, just a variety of white sprinkles. So we just get a few. I'm going to put them on this plate here. Grab some in my hand. And I'm just going to put those on the tip. Perfect. That is my oven bleaking for the cake. So let's get them out whilst we're on live and we'll tip them. Oh, they smell incredible. Here we go. See that? Clean. You can see myself in it. So I'm going to leave those now to cool. Let them cool in the tin for about 5 minutes and then transfer them to a wire rack to just continue cooling. And it is really important that you let them fully cool before you start icing them as well. He's defo my kid, I'm not sure what was said then. Now we're going to move on to the Christmas tree ones as well. So like I mentioned, I've got the Wilton 1M muzzle. Does dairy-free meringue work okay for this icing? It can be quite runny, can't it? Can you suggest? Claire, I'll come back to you. I'll come back to you on that one. You should be listening to them like our boy Peter on Bake Off. Do you know what? I actually do want to try that. I saw it before. I think it was in another Bake Off series, and I tried it, but I had no idea what I was listening for. So for our Christmas trees, what we're going to do is we're going to start, again, sort of from the outside, and then work our way up, gradually pulling it up so we get that Christmas tree effect. There we go. Does that look like a Christmas tree to you? I'm just going to do these with all the other ones quickly. Here we go. And like I say, if you don't have piping nozzles, you can pick them up quite cheaply. I think these Wilton ones are probably like £1–2 a nozzle, and you can generally get like a starter kit which would have all of these ones, because these are the core ones that everybody uses. Love the trees, thank you. And we're going to put some decorations on them as well, obviously. Here we go. And then just one last one. Running out of icing. There we go. So there's our trees. They're rustic and real Christmas trees. And like I say, who has a Christmas tree with no decorations on it? So what we're going to do is going to add some sprinkles to the Christmas trees as well. I've gone for coloured sprinkles. And when I'm decorating my normal tree, I'm usually all for the neutrals. And my mum loves a coloured Christmas light, so I know that if she's watching now, she's really going to appreciate that I'm opting for the colours. Just get some in your hand. Hopefully you can see this all okay. I'll pull it back a little bit. And just sprinkle them on top. They'll stick to the buttercream. And you will get some lovely Christmas tree effects. How's that? They look so delicious. Honestly, I tried one of the cupcakes just on their own when I baked them plain, and they were really lovely. So hopefully, like I said, I'm going to be donating mine to our local NHS hospital. And I really hope they enjoy them. It's the least they can do. I think they probably get loads of Christmas treats, so. Here we go. And just our final one, a few more sprinkles. I'm normally an absolute mess with sprinkles, but I've not done too badly today. There we go. So, here we have it. Santa hat cupcakes and Christmas trees. Let me pick one up. How very Christmassy. So this is our little baking segment over. Gives you an insight into how easy it is to bake the cupcakes, and like I said, that all-in-one method. I would highly recommend you do that one. decorating them, the piping bag hack, I think the link to my website where you can find that came onto the comments as well. Like I mentioned, this is all for the Alice charity, so please do donate if you can. Any amount would be more than enough, and head to their website also if you want to help in any other ways. I am the Coach House Kitchen, so if you would like to follow me, find the link for these recipes, I'll put them up tomorrow. And yeah, that's it really. Thank you so much for having me, to Swan for having me, to everyone for coming on here and supporting me and watching as well. Thank you. Okay, perfect. Also, sorry if you have any other questions, just drop me a message. Perfect. Thank you.